the end of Unit 8. So what we're going to do real quick in today's meeting is we're going to look over all the things that were on the final review, so exponents and logs, and then we will take you to the test, and I'll show you what I'd like for you to do with the test and how to complete that, and hopefully we'll get those turned in today. A couple things to kind of share with you. If you'll take a look, if you'll go to Canvas, so I'm going to share the Canvas screen with you. If you go to Canvas, then what you're going to find, let me save. So on the Unit 8 test, I am going to create it where you can just put your answers in, and I have not finished that yet. So I'll be doing that as soon as we finish this meeting, and I'll give you a chance to know when all that's done. But if you go to Canvas and you click on modules, we're down here in Unit 8 at the very bottom, and everything we did in Unit 8 since the beginning of Phase 3 is on here. So we started with exponent rules, we went to introduction to logarithms, then we went to applications of exponentials and logs, then we had properties of logs, we took a quiz, we had exponential equations, we did some IXLs, we then did graphing exponentials and logs, we did some more IXLs, we did natural logs, the ln and base e, and that homework page on that I left you with on Friday. And then now we're going to do the Unit 8 test. And if you notice, I haven't published the Unit 8 test, so I'm still working on putting the answers from the actual test paper in there, so that way you can just type your answers in. So I will be doing that in just the next, hopefully, hour or so, and you'll be able to, and then I'll send you a message on Remind and through Canvas when it's ready, and you'll be able to type your answers in there, and it'll give you instant feedback on whether it was correct or not, and then which ones you missed. Okay? So that will take us all the way through Unit 8. The rest of this week, so today's May 11th, so the rest of the week, tomorrow, May 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th, we're going to go to Unit 9, which is statistics. And in Unit 9, we have a couple of things that we want to work on. We want to work on talking about surveys and different ways of collecting surveys. We're going to talk about the ways they could be biased, and we're going to also talk about the ways we can get samples. So we're going to talk about how to collect good samples, and then what would be some bad samples, and then just go through the main topic is called collecting data. Is basically what it is in this Unit 9 statistics, and it's also so Unit 9 statistics in Math 3 is very similar to Unit 3 in AP statistics. So the goal there is to kind of get you ahead for that class, and when you see some of that stuff, we'll be able to run through it really quickly when we actually get to the AP statistics course, hopefully in the next year or so for you. Okay, so let me get the screen share up, the document camera for you, and on the document camera we will go through the last part, which is the final review. We'll just look over what you're going to be asked to do, and then I will let you go ahead and start completing the test. I'd like for you to do the test, you know, on paper with the paper you have, but then turn it in by just submitting your answers on Canvas once I get it ready. So let me share my document camera with you. There it is. So this says Unit 8, Logarithms and Exponents Final Review. So if you look at number 1, your goal is to add your exponents there. And we talked about that. Number 2 is multiplying your exponents. And number 3, you would be subtracting your exponents. In question number 4, you're typing that into the calculator, log base 7 of 32, and you get an answer. It says to the nearest thousandth, so that's 3 decimal places. In number 5, expanding. If you're multiplying, you want to add. And if you have an exponent, you want to move it in front. Okay, so you want to move the number in front of the exponent. And then you're adding. In number 6, if you're adding, you want to condense it, you want to change it to multiplication. And if you have a number in front, you want to make it an exponent. Okay, in 7, notice that they both have log base 3 on each side. So we're able to cancel out the log base 3. So it's just 4x plus 10 equals negative 2x plus 2. In number 8, since it's subtraction, we're going to change it to division when we're condensing. X plus 10 goes over 2. And then we use the swoosh method. 4 to the third power equals x plus 10 over 2. You would find 4 to the third power was 64. So you get 64 equals x plus 10 over 2. Then you multiply by 2 and then subtract 10. So very basic process after you get the swoosh method. Number 9, ln of 3.1. You would just type directly in your calculator. You hit the ln button and 3.1. Expanding, you want to multiply that number into both things. And then if it's multiplication, you want to change it to addition. Solving, since this is addition, you want to multiply these two things together, then do the swoosh method. When you're changing an ln, it's going to change to e, right, when you do the swoosh method. And then down at 12 and 13, you're doing swoosh method to rewrite these. So log base 2 of 1/16 equals negative 4 would be 2 to the negative 4 power equals 1 over 16. And then 2/16 to the 1/3 equals 6. You would write log base 2/16 of 6 equals 1/3. Okay, so does anybody have a question from the final review? So I'm going to take any questions from the final review at this time. I have the chat box pulled up, and I will take any question that you might have from that. Something from the final review. Can I do number 5? Sure. So in number 5, it says to expand the logarithms. If I was doing number 5, I would say log x to the third plus, because it's multiplication, plus log y squared. And then when you're expanding, you cannot have any exponents. So expanding means you have to move the number in front. So it would be 3 log x plus 2 log y. That would be number 5. Final answer would be 3 log x plus 2 log y. Okay, number 11. Somebody asked for number 11. All right, so I would write, it's addition, so I'm wanting to solve it. So in addition, I want to condense it to just one ln. So it's going to be ln of, and I want to do 5 times 6 minus 4x equals 5. Okay? Now, I can go ahead and actually find 5 times 6 minus 4x. So I'm going to distribute that. So that's going to be ln of 5 times 6 is 30. Minus 5 times 4x is 20x equals 5. Okay, so I've got it simplified as far as I can go at this point, and now I'm going to do the swoosh method. And when I do the swoosh method with an ln, it just changes it to e. So e to the 5th power equals 30 minus 20x. And then I have to go to my calculator and say, what is e to the 5th power? Okay, and e to the 5th power, in your calculator, you're going to hit second ln, and we're going to get the e button, and we're going to take it to the 5th power. And I'm waiting a second for my calculator to pop up on the screen. So let me share that with you so you have it. So there is second ln, I'm going to say e to the 5th power. That is 148.41. That equals 30 minus 20x. So I'm going to subtract 30. So that's 118.41 equals negative 20x. And then I'm going to divide by negative 20. Okay. So I'm going to subtract 30 and then divide by negative 20. And I'll show you on my paper here in just a second. So I get negative 5.92. Is my final answer. And I'll go back to the paper. We go back to the paper now. You see, I did e to the 5th. I got 148.41. I then subtracted 30. We got 118.41 equals negative 20x. And then I divided by negative 20. At negative 5.92. Do those two make sense now that we did those two? You should see one like that on your test as well, or on your for today. We good? I already told you number 12, you just rewrite it. So 2 to the negative 4th equals 1 over 16. And for 13, you just rewrite it. So log base 216 of 6 equals 1/3. Another question? Any other question from this final review page? Don't hesitate if you have one. Remember number 9 while we're just sitting here. Okay, we'll do number 10. Number 9 was just ln 3.1. So remember, you just go to the calculator on those. They're supposed to be really easy. It says the nearest thousandth, so just make sure you do 3 decimal places. ln 3.1, that would be 1.131. So those are supposed to be easy. Okay. Let's take it back and do number 10. It says expand. The first thing I want to do is if I have an exponent outside of the parentheses, I want to multiply it into both things. So I'm going to say ln of u to the 4th times v to the 2nd. So I just multiplied my exponent into both parts there of the ln. And now, since it's multiplication, I'm going to change it to addition if I'm trying to expand it. Remember, expanding it makes us want to have 2 here. So I'm going to say ln of u to the 4th plus ln of v squared. And when you're expanding, you cannot have exponents. You need to have a number in front. And look, if you look back at number 5, it's kind of the same thing in number 5, except down here in number 10, we're looking at ln. So we want to move the number in front. So we want to say 4 ln of u plus 2 ln of v. And so we've moved the number in front in both of those. We've expanded the logarithm. All right, so 4 ln of u plus 2 ln of v. That's number 10. Cole says 7. All right, 7 log base 3 goes away. Log base 3 goes away. So we're going to say 4x plus 10 equals negative 2x plus 2. We're going to add 2x to the left side, so we get 6x equals. We're going to subtract 10 to the right side. We get negative 8. So x equals negative 8 over 6, which is just negative 1.33. Okay, somebody said number 6, condense this. So it's all adding. First of all, the first thing I would do to condense is take any numbers that are in front and move them to exponent. So log base 3 of x plus log base 3 of y plus log base 3 of z to the 5th. Now, since they're all adding and they all have log base 3, I would put them together. So I'm going to say log base 3 of, and I'm going to put it all together. It's going to be x, y, z to the 5th. So you make them all multiplying. And now you have condensed that. So you've condensed everything all together. Okay? So I think we've done every problem, really. We did all the way. The only ones we didn't do were the top 4. If we want to look at that before the test, that's fine. Log base 7 of 32. Remember how you would type that in the calculator. So you go to your calculator. You'll hit alpha window. And number 5 is log base. Remember on Desmos, you go to the keyboard and then you go to miscellaneous on the functions. But log base 7 of 32. And it says to the nearest thousandth, so that's 3 decimal places. So you got 1.781. That would be number 4, 1.781. Okay. Number 3, if we're adding our exponents, first of all, we just got a number 4 sitting in front. So we write the 4. Then we're adding our exponents. So there's 4 x's and there's -2. So 4 plus -2 is 2. Then we're adding our y's. We got 4 and 2, so that's y to the 6th. And then z, we got -4. So we would have z to the -4. So remember, if you have a negative exponent, you can't end a problem with a negative exponent. So it would just send it to the bottom, and now the exponent becomes positive. Okay? And number 2, you're multiplying your exponents, but remember your coefficient, the big number you actually take to the power. So it's not 3 times 2, it's 3 to the 2nd power. So that is 9. And then you're multiplying your exponents, so p to the -8 and q to the 8th. And now that p has a -8 exponent, so it has to be moved to the bottom. So we're just going to have 9q to the 8th up top. And now p, its exponent moves to the bottom, so it's p to the 8th. And now it's a positive. Got to have a positive exponent, right? All right, let's look at 3. The 4 is on the bottom, so it's going to stay there. You have 1b up here, so that's a 1, right? 1 minus -2. So you're going to say 1 minus -2. That's actually 3. You're going to have b to the 3rd power. For a, you have a to the 2nd, and there's no other a's, so we're going to write a to the 2nd. And for c, you've got 4 minus 3. That's going to be c to the 1st power, or just the c. So we've gone through the entire exponents and logarithms final review page now. You should have all the answers, and we've worked through all of those. And that's really what your test's going to be like. So let me really quickly, in about 5 minutes, go over the test questions, and then I'll let you get started, okay? So on the test, if you'll take your exponents final review page and kind of look beside it. So on the test, the first 4, so there's 50 questions, first of all, but remember, these are super, super fast, right? And they're all multiple choice, and then we're going to put them into Canvas later today once I can get that updated. So you're going to say, so questions 1 through 4 look like number 1 on your review sheet, okay? Questions 1 through 4 look like number 1 on your review sheet. Questions 5 through 8 look like number 2 on your review sheet. That's where you're multiplying your exponents. All right. Questions 9 through 12 look like number 3 on the review sheet. That's where you're subtracting your exponents. So that first page, the first 12 questions on the Unit 8 test is all exponent rules from the very beginning of Unit 8, the very first thing we did. Okay, let's go to the next one. Questions 13 through 16 look like number 4, where you just type it in the calculator exactly as it is. Those look like number 4 from the review sheet. Questions 17 through 20 look like number 5, where you want to expand the logarithm. Questions 21, and it goes all the way to 24, look like number 6. It asks you to condense the logarithm. And it'll go to the next page. So 21 through 24 look like number 6. Okay, questions 25 through 30 say solve the equation. So you're solving a logarithm, okay? So those look like numbers 7 and 8. Actually, most of these are numbers 7 and 8. If you'll notice, most of these actually look like number 7. If they just have one log on each side and it's exactly the same, then you can just cancel them out. The only one where you can't do that is like number 28 and 27. Those look like question number 8 and number 30. But 3 of them, if you just have one log on each side, you can just cancel them out. The others, if you don't have a log, remember you do the swoosh method. They look like question number 8. All right, so we move down using a calculator to just type in LN. Those 4, 31 through 34, those look like question number 9 on the review sheet. And we scroll down just a little bit more. Expanding the logarithm looks like number 10, 35, 36. And then it goes on the next page to 37 and 38. Those are all expanding the logarithms, just like number 10 on your review sheet. Solving the equation, 39 through 42. Those look like question number 11, where you want to solve the equation, but they're in LN form. Rewriting. So all you're doing in this is rewriting. You are not solving anything. You're just using the swoosh method to rewrite log to exponent form. That looks like number 12 on the review. And then the last 4, 47 through 50, you're just rewriting, and that looks like number 13 on the review. So we did the whole review page, and these questions on the test are set up based on that, okay? So the goal is to take that review sheet that you did, that we kind of went through together, and to use it to help you go through the test questions, and that'll take us through everything in Unit 8. Now, what I'm going to do for you, so notice, I'm going to give you, make sure you understand. So I want you to work these on paper, okay? And you've got about 30 minutes or so when we end this meeting to work them on paper. A little bit later today, hopefully by lunchtime, I'm going to send out a message on Canvas that I'll go to your email and on Remind. And on that message, I will let you know that it's been updated. So what I mean is I'm going to publish and update this Unit 8 test down here so that you can take your answers from the sheets that you did, and you can just put in the answers, A, B, C, or D, what answer it was for each problem. And you do not have to upload the 4 test pages. Instead of uploading the pages and me going through, we'll just do the multiple choice. And once you submit that, it will actually give you your grade for that. So you'll know exactly, and it'll tell you the problems you missed. So if you want to know, like, all right, did I miss number 8 or 12 or whatever? And then you can come back tomorrow if there were any that you missed, and you can ask. I'll give you a chance to ask questions before we start the statistics unit. Okay, but until then, if you'll just answer the questions on paper and wait for my message, and then I'll get you the Unit 8 test where you can just put your answers in on Canvas, and you will be ready to go. So does anybody have any questions before I kind of let you guys go for today? Thank you. I think there's about 20 of us on here. A few people were a little late, but that was no problem. I think about 20 of us were on here for Monday, and I'd like to see some more, but you guys have been doing a great job. I'm seeing the names every day, and I really appreciate your commitment to the class and to school, and it's going to pay off for you, I think, in the long run. It really is. So any questions for the test? Are we good to go? Let me know in the chat. Are we good to go? Feel confident, hopefully, on exponents and logarithms. you will see this. I've looked already. I mean, it is in the it's in the Math 4 course. It's in pre-calculus stuff. It's in a lot of courses that you'll take. It's not, obviously it's not a statistics topic, but it can be in some of your future math courses as well. Hamilton's good. Anybody else? Everybody else okay? Okay, anybody got any other questions not related to the test? Anything that I can help answer? I'm not seeing any. So if there's not, look for my message, okay? Look for my message today, and then also be ready to update. I really want you all to turn